If you've been using Adobe Audition for a while now, you know that there have been no significant updates from Adobe for years. And this is a major issue, especially as a lot has changed in the audio editing space in the past few years. Most new audio features are now going into Premiere. And let's face it, not every user needs to learn how to use this video editing powerhouse. If you're considering jumping over the fence, there are some important considerations to make. In this video, I will share with you your best options. So let's dive in. The first alternative is free and it's Audacity. Now, before you scream at me and say, how dare you compare Audacity with Audition, hold tight. Something like this is great for beginners and editing audio in a snap. And also Audacity has been updating regularly in the past few years. And if it's been a while since you've checked, you should really take a look at some of the stuff they're doing now, including making it easy to record. Hello there, this is me recording a piece of audio into Audacity. The waveform looks much the same as Adobe Audition. And then I can stop it just like this. And the best thing is I can resize and zoom exactly as I would be used to in Adobe Audition. I've got some different views that I can dial in. For instance, over here in the Audio 1 part on the 3-dot menu, we've actually got the option to change from waveform to spectrogram, which will seem quite familiar to you if you've used Adobe Audition. Yes, we can analyze and see all the frequencies in my voice, just like the spectral frequency view. But not only that, if I want the true Audition feel, I can go to multi-view, and now I've got waveform and what we know and love as spectral frequency view right there on the screen. It's really, really good. It's also got multi-track. Well, almost. Like for instance, I've got this sound effect that I can just drag and drop, and look at this, it goes right underneath my audio. Now, if I want to line up my top track with the bottom track, I just use the hand tool up here and move it along. So you see, you have full multi-track editing. Yes, it's not as slick and good looking as Adobe Audition, but it kind of does the job. Next up, let's look at the effects menu, and you'll notice many of the same effects we know and love from Audition, such as loudness normalization, normalizing, compression, EQ, such as the graphic EQ, high-pass filters that we've been so used to using, a lot of noise removal and repair, although much of that has gone to AI now, and the other things like distortion and special effects. But also, you can add in plugins. So I've got my Apple VST, or AU effects as they're known on Apple. It also takes VST plugins, and the OpenVino AI effects. Look at this, as Audacity is actually owned by Muse now, they have a full plugin store that you can download and install directly from the website. Some of my favorites include the OpenVino AI tools that I've featured in previous videos, and something that I used a long time ago, and you can find the video about that on my channel too, is the wonderful Gralion 3 real-time vocal tuner. These are as easy as clicking install to get going on Audacity now. And the exciting bit, Audacity is going to be releasing their long-awaited 4.0 update soon. We're promised a true revolution of the experience, so it's definitely worth watching for. My only concern is that it's been free for such a long time, it changed hands, and whether it remains free forever or follows a subscription model is yet to be seen. But either way, Audacity is probably one of the leading alternatives to Adobe Audition right now. Next up, option 2, and it's Reaper. Now, full disclosure here, I'm not a Reaper user, but many of my viewers keep telling me that Reaper is the bomb. So I decided to investigate. So here is Reaper once you download it. In fact, many audio producers I've worked with have said it's really good. Now, in order to get going, I think I need to click the Insert Track button. And look at this. Just like Audition, we get a multi-track style view. In fact, I can click plus again and we've got 2 tracks. So pretty easy and familiar to get started with. Now over here, we've got a record button and we've got mute and solo, just as we'd be familiar with in Audition. Let's actually bring the cursor right back to the start and hit this button. Okay, now we're armed for recording and you can see my audio level showing up here on the meter here and down here on the master. So let's hit the master record button. This is me recording for the first time in Reaper, and I gotta say, the waveforms look a lot nicer than Audacity, and also I like the dark and beautiful user interface. We hit space and you can see we've actually got a file recorded and Reaper wants to know what we do with it. Now, I got to say that's a bit fiddly compared to, say, Audacity or Audition, but just for the sake of this, I'll click Save All and there it is. It's saved to my disk and it's now here in my Reaper session. I can switch off the record mode and now I can start to edit it. Now I can move my cursor along and play back. This is me recording and it works. It's perfect. It's also grid based. So we're actually using Reaper mainly for working with music. We can bring in music, we can sync things up to the beat, do key changes, tempo changes, and things like that. And here's the other thing. Note that I've got that sound effect. Well, I can just drag and drop it into my Reaper session and notice how it actually snapped to the grid wherever I placed it. So again, we've got similar things going on here inside Reaper. Sound effects and other things like that are a little bit of a learning curve, but I guess once you get used to them, why not? So look at this. I've got an effects button to show the track effects window, and I've got all my plugins, including external ones, VST, AU plugins, and some native things that come with Reaper, such as delay, EQ, gates, and stuff that you'd really expect. I can add it in, and I've got to say, I can maybe add a little bit of reverb. Let's bring in reverb and add that to my vocal track. You'll see I get a basic interface. Again, this is not as slick as Audition, nor is Audacity, but hey, I guess it's better than nothing. Now I can move this around. All right, we've got nothing going on this at the moment, so let's add a bad crunch preset and play this back. This is me recording for the first time in Reaper, and I gotta say, the way, well, you know what? The reverb is there, it works, it's pretty nice, and it's pretty intuitive to use. Now, with Reaper, you can buy a one-off license, $225, and if you make commercial production, that will be your fee. But if you're using Reaper for personal use, it's just gonna cost you $60, and this fee will last you for 2 versions. So say you're on version 7, you'll get updates to 8.9, but after that, if you wanted new updates, you'll need to buy a license again. I guess that's how they stay self-sustaining. Now, many hobby users prefer this form of licensing as it feels cheaper, but in reality, to get the new features, you do have to keep paying over time. Now, before I dive into my favorite alternative, I've a very serious favor to ask you. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers this year, and unfortunately, YouTube has informed me I can't do it alone. If you hit subscribe, I promise to keep making high quality videos just like this one and not disappear mysteriously for 6 months. Deal? Okay, let's get back to it. Option 3, and this may cause a little bit of controversy, especially in you hardcore editors watching my channel, and thank you for being there. But you have to hear me out. A lot has changed in editing in the last 2 years or so, and the old way of editing and tweaking is very slowly going away. I love geeking out as much as the next person, but now text-based editing is becoming the standard. And with this in mind, my third option is Riverside. Here we've got a studio where all of my recordings are stored in the cloud. I can go to the edit, I can go live, I can roll webinars, schedule stuff, and even upload audio files if I need to. But I might just get started by hitting record, and the beautiful thing about Riverside is it not only handles audio, as of course Adobe Audition did, but it will also help you with video. So when I go into the studio, you'll see I pop up on the screen, I can select I'm wearing headphones, join my studio, and this is like arming a track to record, but I get a video there. So I can hit record, and let's give it a go. Hello, this is Mike Russell, testing out Riverside and the text-based editing, and the fact that you've also got waveforms and the ability to make tweaks using AI tools. When we're finished, we click stop. You're going to see right down here, it's just uploading what I made. And when it's done, I can go to the project. Okay, everything has been processed, and look at this. I've got my audio transcribed into text, and I can play back by selecting the word I want to hear and hitting spacebar. Hello, this is Mike Russell, testing out Riverside and the text-based editing, and the fact that you've also got waveforms and the ability to make tweaks using AI tools. Now say I wanted to remove my surname, say Russell, I select it, hit delete, and look at that. It's actually gone, and it's represented down here in the waveform as disappeared. Let's listen to that edit. Hello, this is Mike testing out Riverside. Oh, okay, let's face it, that edit wasn't perfect, but this is where working with a waveform is absolutely possible in Riverside. I can select and zoom in just like I would in any multi-track editor, and I can go ahead and pull this to cover my full surname and maybe tighten up the end of that edit to be much better. Now we'll go back to the start of the waveform and play. Hello, this is Mike testing out Riverside, and if we don't like it, we can change again and listen back. Hello, this is Mike testing out Riverside, and you can just get the perfect edit and dial it in as you wish. My audio's okay because thankfully I have a nice microphone, but AI tools inside Riverside allow you to make things sound better without needing to know EQ, compression ratios, de-reverb, and so much more. You just click the Magic Audio Apply button here in your AI tools, and you'll see it's going to apply high-resolution audio to what I've just recorded. Okay, it's processed. Let's listen. Hello, this is Mike Russell, testing out Riverside. And it's already made me sound clearer, crisper, and louder. Exactly what I need in one click. Now I've also got music and B-roll at a click away. I can click music, I can find something nice. Look at this, there's some nice slow music, and I can take that and click the plus button and it immediately goes into my project here in the wonderful waveform view. Now, if we think the music that we inserted might be a bit loud, we can go to volume and effects, just drag it down a bit to just under half and play. Hello, this is Mike Russell, testing out Riverside and the text-based editing. Okay, this is fantastic. It's me talking, there's music in the background, and I can zoom in and out. What about adding B-roll? And right about here, I might want something for when I talk about AI tools. So I'll go over to videos, and then right down here, we can generate AI B-roll. I'll type in friendly robot waving. We can generate with audio or not, and we can choose a model to use. I'll stick with Google's VO. And there he is, my friendly robot. I can just click it and boom, look at this. It's inserted into my timeline. I can click the maximize button to fill the video here and position it wherever I like. Now it's in the right position, let's hear it back and watch. And the fact that you've also got waveforms and the ability to make tweaks using AI tools. That's such a cute robot, and it was so easy to generate right inside Riverside. That's so cool. I'm happy with everything. I'm actually going to download the raw video and I can get anything I want from here. Raw audio, the magic audio that's been enhanced, compressed audio, but I'll just go for the standard raw video. There you go. So why does this option win? Well, because it gently transitions you into the future without the overwhelm that most advanced options can bring. Like looking at EQ graphs and playing with compression ratios. It makes creating video content easy, and let's be honest, video isn't optional anymore. It's essential for almost any kind of project. Okay, finally, option 4, and this is the final option on my list, and it's one if you'd prefer to stay in the Adobe ecosystem. It's Adobe Premiere. This is where the Adobe team are putting 100% of their creative juices in new updates. In fact, much of the audio stuff is skipping Audition and going straight into Adobe Premiere. Let's drag and drop the Riverside video that I made into Premiere so we can see it in action. And I'll drag it into a sequence here. You can see one of the cons is already a lot of technical knowledge is required as to how to import media, how to create a sequence, and all the other settings that come with Adobe Premiere. Now, obviously, we've got a video track here that we can work with for our video, but we've also got a very easy waveform to work with. Now, unlike Audacity, where we can see spectral frequency view and look at all the wonderful different frequencies and isolate things such as birds tweeting, we'd need to actually export this over to Adobe Audition in order to see that. In the right-click context menu, we go to Edit Clip in Adobe Audition. But that's a big round trip. So what can we do right here in Premiere? Well, first of all, if you go into the effects library and you look at the audio effects, you'll see they match like for like the effects that are in Adobe Audition. This is a big pro. Like I say, if you're already in the Adobe ecosystem and you've used Audition for a long time, everything you'll know how to use will be right here inside Premiere. For instance, I can go into the amplitude and compression menu and I can immediately bring dynamics, drag it and drop it onto my speech, and then go into the effect controls, and then I click edit, and there it is, the familiar compressor with ratios, thresholds, and a lot more that you can dial in and enable. But that's a lot of hassle. There's got to be a simpler way. And there is. Premiere has made it easier and easier to work on sound just using their essential sound panel here. First of all, we can click Enhance, and much like Magic Audio, this will send this to Adobe Enhance to make your audio sound better. Things such as removing background noise, leveling out, and maximizing the sound of audio, and a little bit of EQ is all applied in this one single step. There we go, it's done. Let's have a listen. Hello, this is Mike Russell. And then we'll switch off Enhanced Speech and listen to it. Hello, this is Mike Russell. And I've got to say, I don't like the default settings on Enhanced Speech as much as I do in Riverside, for instance. But there is an answer to that. You can slide the mix amount up and down. At the moment it's 7, so I might slide it down to 2.5, which is about 25% of the Enhanced Speech effect. Then we got things such as loudness normalization, great for matching things to YouTube standards of -14 LUFS or -23, as in this case. We can repair any problems with noise reduction, rumble, dehum, all at the click of a button and the pull of a slider. We can do things like dynamics and EQ right there in Essential Sound. So it doesn't have to be difficult, but you definitely want to have to control every single aspect of your project if you're diving into Premiere. If you really want to geek out, you can actually go to the workspace view and switch it to audio, where it will give you a familiar mixer, just like we've been used to in Adobe Audition. This will give you an audio mixer that you can use much the same as Adobe Audition. You can add effects to that and do it the old school way if you wish. And another cool feature of Premiere is you can actually export this, but you don't have to export as a video. You can export as a WAV file or even MP3s. If we go to more presets here and type in MP3, you'll notice there are some standardized MP3 outputs too. So Premiere not only is a good video editor, but it's also pretty competent at audio too. And my favorite hidden feature in Adobe Premiere is you can go into Effects and you can actually go down to Loudness Normalization and select the ITU standard and put in -14 LUFS, and it will standardize your audio to be exactly right for YouTube or Spotify. And that's a wrap. But which option was your favorite and which ones are you actually tempted to try out? Let me know in the comments down below. I really love reading them and knowing what you're using right now and what the sentiment is. And by the way, right now, YouTube is pointing you toward a video that it thinks you'll love, so I'll see you over there. Thanks.